I give the floor to the representative of Lebanon.
Thank you, Mr. President. At the outset, I would like to express our sincere thanks to the esteemed presidency of Japan for convening this open session in the midst of difficult circumstances our world is witnessing today, with 27 current conflicts breaking out in different parts of the world simultaneously. The topic of today's session prompts us to reflect on the following approach. Is security and stability the gateway to peace or the development and prosperity of societies? We believe that the two components are mutually reinforcing and cannot be envisaged in silos. No situation can be strengthened, no society can rise, and no peace will prevail unless an enabling environment that embraces the minimum elements of steadfastness and resistance of people is established. There is no development in isolation from stability, and there is no social justice, neither sense of security and equality in rights and duties in the absence of sound and robust institutional apparatus, able to withstand beyond the brunt of any harsh crisis. Mr. President, today I represent a country, and I say it with bitterness and burning heart, a country that lacks the basic conditions for steadfastness in light of an unprecedented economic and financial crisis in its modern history, which cost us recently and unfortunately the loss of our voting right in this organization, an organization which Lebanon was one of the main pillars in its founding and in the drafting of its chart. Additionally to that, a steady stalemate of its constitutional institutions compounded with the burden of refugees and displaced influx from different nationalities, whom Lebanon bears the burden of their presence in massive numbers with all the great challenges that this entails. Despite this bleak scene, the main driver of resilience remains the human resource and its ability to adapt and identify with crises until they recede. However, this kind of resistance and resilience and steadfastness in the storm eye cannot be relied upon in the long term, given the absence of basics for well-being and decent life and lack of conditions for continuity. Mr. President, under this prominent thematic today, we believe that the Council is invited to address emerging threats and risk multipliers through broad and inclusive dialogue with a wide spectrum of actors, including, but not limited to, non-Council members, specialized UN agencies, regional organizations, international financial institutions, as well as civil society in all its forms, including private sector. The importance of expanding consultation to a plurality of actors is compounded by the often transnational, interlinked, and at times emerging threats which must increasingly be viewed in a holistic manner. In light of these elements, the Peacebuilding Commission's federating and cross-cutting mandate could be expanded to all of these actors in order to potentially create new synergies among all relevant stakeholders in view of increasing the agility and rapid response capabilities of the UN Security Council, whilst also bolstering the public legitimacy of the Council and the United Nations as a whole. Mr. President, the Security Council could make better use of the convening power of the Peacebuilding Commission by expanding its mandate to promote more effective interaction with non-Council members and UN bodies, and allowing for a formalization of partnerships with civil society entities. In doing so, the Council would tangibly increase its efforts to create a participatory environment in the design and implementation of peace-building strategies, which could include women, youth, and other marginalized groups, among others. A critical element to build resilient institutions is through the accurate and advanced identification of extrinsic as well as intrinsic vulnerabilities to these institutions. Proper consideration must, of course, be given to the respect of sovereign principles as well as the unique national specificities and culture of each member state. Finally, Mr. President, assuming a proper advanced identification of national institutional vulnerabilities, capacity building plays a pivotal role in creating, strengthening, and developing institutional resilience. By building the capacity of government officials, civil society organizations, and other key actors, member states can improve the effectiveness and accountability of their institutions in the short, medium, and long term, while promoting and cultivating essential civic engagement. Particular attention, finally, should be given to women and youth as well as to marginalized and vulnerable groups within society in order to ensure that institutions are both representative and inclusive. In this regard, the Women, Peace and Security and the Youth Peace and Security agendas are useful tools toward achieving this goal. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of Lebanon for their statement.